all in this mini project session of MC1 being online. Today we will discuss how to draw the class diagram, UML diagram. For that purpose, we will see one video that will give you the better idea. Let me share the screen. I also request you to please mark your attendance at the chat box. Please mark your attendance. In case of any difficulty, please let me know through the chat box. Hello. I hope the screen is visible to all.
So the most important entity in any class diagram is class itself. To draw a class, you have to draw a box. We will again be discussing the same example that we have been discussing, that is an application to book tennis courts online. So tennis court booking application, right? So the most important class in this application.
Please have the correlation with respect to your project topic so that it will be helpful to you to
सर आवाज
the
नहीं है.
UML diagram of your project.
Should be member, right? So this is my class name, right? Now you know that every class has certain attributes and it offers
There are caption on the bottom also to get better understanding.
certain functionality. So every class will have some data members, right? And it will have some member functions. Data members are the attributes of the class, also known as variables or instance variables. And member functions are the functions of the class which offer the functionality, right? When we talk about data members or variables, instance variables of the class, we can have information about them such as data types could be your primitive data types like integer, string, char,
और ये लोगों
float,
ने कुछ
etc.
कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं मिला.
Primitive data
यूएस
types.
साइड और डेव
Data
साइड
types could
ऑफिस
also be
प्रेजेंट किया.
your classes or abstract data types, such as, let's say, in our application, we are going to create another class called as booking. So booking is a type, right? You could have a data member of type booking. So it's also a type. Apart from that, certain library classes. For example, in Java, you have string builder. So this could all be your data types, right? The second piece of information we have to denote in our class diagram about data members is access specifiers. They are denoted as, public is denoted as by the sign plus, private by minus, protected as hash, and package as this tilde, right? This is how you denote this access specifiers. Certain modifiers, for example, so you can have data members static, read-only, unique, or array. My first data member, I'll declare it as private. I'll say name of the member. Data type, you have to say colon. Data type will be string, right? This is how you denote your data member. I'll again say private. It will be again of type string, private, address, name of the variable, of type address, where address will be a class which we can write separately. Private, let's say start date, of type date, right? Date is a class. In most of the languages we have date class. If you make data members as private, they can only be accessed within this class. When you make them public, let's say I make start date as public, right? Then those data members could be accessed from within this class, outside this class, by any other class basically. So they are public, right? Then we have something called as protected. When you declare certain data member as protected, that data member can be accessed within this class and within all the immediate children classes of this member class. When you declare certain data member or certain instance variable of type package, right? This data member can be accessed within this class and by all the classes in the same package, right? So you can have one package and you can have n number of classes inside this package, right? Let's say member is one of those classes. Then all these other classes can also, when they create object of member class, they can also access this member count data member of this member class within this class and within all the classes in the same package, right? Static. So you can make certain data members as static. So I'll make this member count variable as static. To denote a static data member is you have to underline it. So this is how you make a certain data member as static. What it means is that this becomes your class level data member. That means all the objects of this member class will share a single instance, a single copy of this static data member count. Read only means they are initialized only once when you are creating the object. Once their value is set, you cannot change the value of those data members. So we'll make start date as read only. Inside those braces, I'll write read only. That once you set the value of this start date variable while you are creating the object, right? That's it. You cannot ever change that value again. It will be read only. You can only read it. You cannot write it again. So that is read only. These are usually denoted by constants in your object-oriented programming languages. Visitors. So every member can bring certain number of visitors while he is registered with our tennis complex, right? And you have to do it like that using a array notation, right? You can specify size or length. If you specify it as star, that means infinite number of values can be there in this array. But if you want to limit this value, limit this size of the array, then you can also specify it like, let's say, suppose 3. So you can say only this size of this array will be 3. So only 3 visitors will be allowed per member. Here, you can also use unique. So you can say that all the values inside this string, inside this visitors array shall be unique. So you can apply this constraint of unique. So we'll say modifiers come constraints. Let's now learn how to denote member.
Now in your city.
हाँ ओके नहीं नहीं अभी बात कराती हूँ
पापा
यार कभी तो चैन से सांस लेने दे।
बड़े बिजी हो बेटा।
एसी ऑन और माहौल गर्म। अर्बन
That's
कंपनी
a
बुलाओ, पावर जेट से
commercial
गिराओ एसी अंदर
advertise
से
on
साफ
the
और
YouTube.
पाओ दुगनी तेज कूलिंग। अर्बन कंपनी एसी सर्विसिंग। डाउनलोड द ऐप नाउ।
That's
functions inside a class diagram. So I've removed certain data members in order to make some space for my member functions. I'll draw a boundary. Right? So this is our boundary between data members and member functions. The first member function that I'm going to write is constructor is very simple to draw. Usually constructors are public, right? Unless you are using certain solutions such as singleton pattern where you can make your constructor private, usually they are public. So I'll say plus constructor is basically the same name as that of your class name. So I'll say member. You have to provide the arguments if any. So I'll say parameter name n of type string, right? Then I'll say email of type string, and then I'll say one date is date of type date, right? This is my constructor. Usually for every member function, constructor is a member function, right? You'll have to specify the return type like colon followed by return type. But in case of constructor, we usually do not denote the return type because you know that constructor always returns the object of same type. Show details. This method will not require any parameters, no parameters, and this method will not return anything, so I'll say void because this is just going to print the details of the members such as name, email, start date, etc. We have this member count, right? So member count will increase every time we create a new object. So we'll write that member count increase code in our constructor, but we need a function which will be able to display the current count. So we'll write a function public get member count. So this method will return the count of total objects of members that have been created till now. This method will not require any parameters and it will return integer, right? So this is the return type, parameter list, name of the function, access specifier, right? Now, because this method is going to access static data member, that is member count, we shall make it static. So this is the way you make a method static. That is by underlining the.
please mark your attendance at the join box. Those who have let join, please mark your attendance.
Method. Static methods can only access the static data members. These are called class level methods. That means you can invoke it like member dot member count. Like this, I can call it and collect this value and print it, right? Change email, right? This method will require a parameter email, right? So new email, which will be of type string. This method will return a boolean, true or false. That is just to denote whether the changing of email operation has been successful or not, will return true or false. If the change email operation is successful, we'll say true, return true or false. And let's say somebody is trying to change the email and specified the email which all.
Try to correlate all this discussion with respect to your project topic so that you will be able to draw the UML diagram for your project. See, class diagram is the very basic diagram under the UML. You have to give the class name, then the whatever types of data members are there, and member functions means how they are going to be accessed.
Already exist for some other member, then in that case we shall not change the email and return false, saying that we cannot change the email and will return false. So now you know how to denote member functions inside your class diagram. Access specifier, function name, parameter list, colon, return type. This is how you.
Focus on video along with the captions, bottom line caption, so that you will get to know how to operate using UML diagram.
To denote member functions. Can you see a trend here? Most of our or all of our data members are private, and most of our or all of our member functions are public, right? So this is how you do encapsulation. You keep your data private and you expose the functionality of your class through public member functions. So now we are going to talk about how to denote relationships in your class diagram. For example, inheritance. Earlier, we had only one type of members, that is member class. Then we decided to have membership types. We decided to have something called as lifetime members.
That's how aggregation works, meaning our project have that
Annual members in addition to this normal members, right? So now we have one more data member called as end date. This is important for us because this will differentiate annual members, lifetime members, and normal members, right? So I have a constructor, show details method, and I'll also add set duration. We will keep this class and will inherit two classes from this.
What does AI mean?
sorry for the interruption, but in that commercial advertise we have to go through.
For business leaders and for business managers? How can it be converted into value and opportunity?
Yes, I am operating from another PC desktop. That's my audio is somewhat broken. Please pardon me for that. Please give attention towards the video, how the class diagram is being done, how it is being drawn, what are the annotations like symbolic representation of the public, private and protected data members and member functions are there. As per that only you have to draw your UML diagram for your project. So please try to correlate with your project topic so that it will be easier for you to draw the whatever your UML diagram for your project. Okay, it's I think audio advertise is okay. It is going to end within a minute. By then you can continue. One more thing, yesterday, day before yesterday, I got a calls from many of you that what will be the sessions, how the exam will be there with respect to practical. That practical faculties will share with you that how they are going to conduct using the Google Classroom. But don't worry about that. It will be a pre-informed to you. So please prepare accordingly. There will be the two sessions, one for the Java programming and another for the DSA programming using Java. Okay, we will continue with our video. It's almost advertise is over.
I remember when I started in 2009 and became an entrepreneur, I was completely blind to whether the
This as these classes inherit from the member class, will draw arrow, right, pointing from child class to
See how inheritance is shown at the UML.
base class. So the arrow points from the child class to
Please mark your attendance.
base class or parent class. Because these classes are inheriting from member class, they will get all the data members of this class and all the member functions also. But in order for these classes to be able to modify these data members, will make them protected. You remember protected? Protected data members can be accessed within this class and in the immediate children classes. For lifetime members, we'll set the end date as, let's say, 60 years from the start date. And in annual member, we need to set the end date as 1 year from the start date. So for that, we need to override the set duration method in the children classes. Apart from that, these lifetime member and annual member will have another data member called as, so let's say, private booking discount. I want to make this static because
I'm sharing this video link at the chat box.
it will be same value for all the objects of type lifetime member or annual member. This is basically, we want to give extra booking discount for annual members and lifetime members. Let's say for lifetime members, that discount will be about 50% on each booking. For annual member, it will be about 20%.
In case of any difficulty with respect to any project, you can call me anytime. You can WhatsApp me so that it will be like, or we can have a conference call also so that it will be easy for you to comply with the deadlines, whatever the dates given for the submission.
For each booking. So we'll set that, and that value will be shared by all the objects of annual member class and all the objects of lifetime member class. That's why it's a static data member. The constructor will be pretty much the same signature. So I'll just very shortly draw it. It will also need 3 parameters: name n for of type string, email, let's say em of type string, sd that is of type date for start date, right? Now, as I said, we need to override the set duration method. All right, set duration doesn't require any parameter. And now we have this set duration method, which will set the end date based on your start date. In the normal member class, for our normal membership, the start date and end date will be the same date, whereas we will override this behavior in our lifetime member child class, and we'll say set duration will say end date equal to start date plus some 60 years. Similarly here, we'll also override that behavior. Inside set duration will say end date equal to start date, whatever has been set, plus 1 year, right? So this is method overriding. There's no special syntax. Only thing you have to pay attention is the method signature, the name, parameter list, and return type has to match in the children classes. Now let us learn how to denote abstract classes in your class diagram. We have an entity called as code, right? Of course, tennis complex will have some codes, but this code is an abstract class because we have types of code. We have hard code, we have clay code, we have grass code. There's no only code. It has to be either grass code, hard code, or clay code. So we'll make this code class as abstract. The way to denote a class abstract is to write its name in italic manner. We have to write this in italic, and it will have certain methods. For example, let's say we'll say abstract method get rate, and it has to return integer. Remember, the manner to denote an abstract method is also the same. You have to write the entire method signature in italic font. Get info is.
At the end of video, we will conclude the session. So please take care of marking your attendance during the video only.
Class itself. To draw a class, you have to draw a box. We will again be discussing the same example that we have been discussing, that is an application to book tennis courts online. So tennis court booking application, right? So the most important class in this application should be member, right? We'll have members. So this is my class name, right? Now you know that every class has certain attributes and it offers certain functionality. So every class will have some data members, right? And it will have some member functions. Data members basically are the attributes of the class, also known as variables or instance variables. And member functions are the functions of the class which offer the functionality, right? When we talk about data members or variables, instance variables of the class, we can have information about them such as data type. Data types could be your primitive data types like integer, string, char, float, etc. The primitive data types, right? Data types could also be your classes or abstract data types, such as, let's say, in our application, we are going to create another class called as booking. So booking is a type, right? You could have a data member of type booking. So it's also a type. Apart from that, certain library classes. For example, in Java, you have string builder. So these are all be your data types, right? The second piece of information we have to denote in our class diagram about data members is access specifiers. They are denoted transaction entity, right? So I'll just, but we need to have certain
Can
basic
just
information
forwarding.
about, of course, tennis complex will have codes, but this code is an abstract class because we have types of code. So we'll just say, again, this cannot be in italic. This is a concrete implementation about each payment. We have different modes of payment for the members. So members
Okay.
can pay
Anything
using
I have shared.
credit card or debit card. Members can
Please
use net
mark your
banking.
attendance. We
But
will
as a
comply the
organization,
session
we will
within
still
next minute.
require certain basic information
PPT
about the
मध्ये
payment,
कोणते
whether it be
combination
card payment or
करायचे
net banking. We need to have certain standard because tomorrow we can also introduce few more different kinds of payment methods. But we need to have certain basic information about each payment. For example, amount that has been paid, the transaction ID for that payment, and the transaction entity, who is the organization through which the transaction was made. So in order to have that standard behavior in each different kind of payment mechanism, we will define an interface. Interface keyword here, like this, and we'll have to specify the name of the interface. So in this case, it will be iPayment.
Please mark
info.
your attendance
Let's
and
see. Now, in this interface, we'll have a method.
focus on chat box
So have a
also.
look at this method signature. It's public. Save payment info is the method
There
name.
are some
It requires
instructions
3
at the
parameters.
chat box.
One, that is amount, float, transaction ID, string, and transaction entity, again string, and it returns nothing, so return type is void. Now, these different payment methods will implement this interface. So how do
You
we
share
denote
the
that?
link
It
of
is very
video
similar
at
to
the
that
chat
of
box.
inheritance, just a dotted arrow, and again from children to
Remember,
parents. So
at
dotted
any
arrow
diagram,
from
YAML diagram,
implementing
syntax
class to
does
interface,
matter.
like this. And of course, these classes will have to implement that method with the exact signature, right? Transaction entity, right? So I'll just mention it in short, but it will be exactly same signature as that of your interface. Here also we'll have to implement that same exact return type and same exact signature. Let's say amount, transaction ID, and transaction entity. So this is how you denote interfaces in class diagram. Inheritance is a kind of relationship. Let's say class fruit is inherited by banana and let's say mango. So then you say banana is a fruit, mango is a fruit. So inheritance is a kind of relationship. We also have has a kind of relationship. In class diagram, you can denote this relationship in 2 ways. Booking will be done by members. So say booking has a member M, a data member of type member. And booking will also need some kind of payment. So say payment P, right? So this booking class contains an instance of type member and an instance of type payment. Booking has a member, booking has a payment. But there is a slight difference. We delete this booking instance. Whatever booking object we had created, we delete that booking instance. So with that, the contained payment
Okay, we are
object
going to
will also be
conclude the
deleted
session.
because
Wish you all the
it is
best
a
for your
composition
exams.
relationship. So there is this
Do
filled
attend
diamond booking
Online exam
and
regularly they
payment
are
have a
being
composition
conducted
relationship
as a
because
concurrent evaluation. Let me stop the share. I have already given the link at the chat box. Those who have not yet marked the attendance, please mark your attendance at the chat box. And we will meet again tomorrow, same slot, 11:15 for the further discussion on the mini project. Those who can have submit the details to me on WhatsApp, they can submit. And as per schedule, you have to attend the practical and your mini project exam for the concurrent evaluation. Number one. Number two, for practical, there are two parts. One is the data structure and algorithm using JavaScript, DSA program using JavaScript. That all programs list has been already given to you. And another are the pure Java programming. So please take care. And mini project is altogether different subject. JavaScript and DSA are taken under the practical. Okay, let me conclude the session. Wish you all the best for your exams. I'm concluding the session. Thank you all.